Yellow paper. Red writing. On fire. That's a Daoist talisman, and it's on screen for 8 frames. 8. I had to go through the whole 15 minutes 1 frame at a time to catch it. And it's not even the only one. A minute and a half in, the old man opens up something in the rocks, and burnt paper comes boiling out of the hole until it fills the sky. So, that's what today is. 4 things out of that trailer, and where they actually come from. The paper, the hand seals, that weird bit where he fans smoke into a building, and the monsters, which, it turns out, are reading a completely different book from everyone else in the game. 3 labels, and I'll say which one I'm on as I go. Confirmed means I'm putting the actual Chinese up on screen, so you can see I didn't make it up. Likely means it looks right, and I'll tell you what it looks like. Guessing means I'm guessing, and I'll say so. It all comes out of 3 old Zhong Kui novels and a pile of Daoist ritual manuals I keep on my hard drive. Nothing here is behind a paywall. You can go read any of it. And look, I get things wrong. One of these 4 is literally me getting something wrong and somebody catching it. If that happens again, comments please. Right, the paper. The fu yellow ground, red ink. Here's a real one so you can see what he's holding. Yellow paper, a red seal, and that thick column of strokes down the middle that looks like writing right up until you try to read it. Which is deliberate. That's Yuanzhuan cloud script. It shows up 22 times across 4 different ritual manuals I've got. It's supposed to be heaven's handwriting, not ours. That's the whole idea. Now put that next to the game's ability icons. The third one, especially strokes lined up like characters that never quite turn into characters. The other word worth knowing is Qilin, roughly by imperial command. It's how a talisman opens. Daoist fengxing, carry it out. Now, nobody talks to a god that way. That's how you talk to staff. You'll see people cut these icons into a futu and a fudan, a talisman head and core, and label one a sanqing fu. So I went and searched 51 volumes of Song and Yuan ritual manuals for those words. Sanqing fu, nothing, not once. Bonfu dan, 1 hit and it's a false one. It's sitting inside, which is a gallbladder talisman from a set of organ charms. Wrong dan. Da futu, 3 hits, all in the same book, and there it's a divination term for a compass direction. Nothing to do with the top of anything. What I did find was Fushen and Fujiao, talisman body, talisman foot. So the idea that a talisman has body parts real and old, those 2 particular words modern, both things are true at once, they're just from different centuries. Here's the part nobody tells you. A talisman isn't a spell you read, it's a thing you make, then charge, then physically do something with, and the manuals are weirdly specific about all 3. 1 breath, 1 go, and if a stroke comes out wrong, leave it, don't touch it up. That's not a spelling rule, that's a rule about how you're breathing while you do it. Then you actually use the thing 5 ways, all documented, and 1 line in Fahayiju fires off 4 of them, in 4 characters, Sun Fujian Tai Jike. 1. You wear it, Bao Puzi says a Daoist always carries a few. Then it says to hang them round the cow shed and the pig pen as well, to keep tigers off. Talismans, as livestock insurance. 2. You stick it up, wall, door, over the bed. 3. You burn it, remember that one. 4. You burn it into water and drink it, this is the one that gets people. Ash water, you drink the paperwork. 5. You bury it or sink it, write it in red on a big rock and drop it in the water. Which makes a talisman less like a spell and more like a prescription. Wear it, post it, burn it, swallow it, bury it, depends what's wrong. Now go back to his hand, because number 3 is the one Game Science actually filmed. And in Zhong Kui Chuanzhuan, burning it is how you send it. Same book, Judge Bao gets stuck on a case twice. Both times he writes a shu and burns it in front of a Zhong Kui portrait. And if you look at the thing he writes, it's a letter. Who's writing, what happened, what he wants, signed. Burning it is how you put it in the post. So that 1/3 of a second isn't a guy lighting a firework, he's filing something. Stay on the ability bar, 4th icon. First time through, I wrote down, that's a hand, 5 little parallel strokes up in the corner, and my brain went, fingers. Then I pulled it at full resolution off 4 separate frames and actually looked. Those strokes run into a curved spine, there's a long tail hooking off to the right, something like feet at the bottom, a separate little mark floating up top. It's not a hand, I have no idea what it is. And I'm leaving that in because it's exactly the thing this video is about. I wanted it to be a hand. I had a really good passage about hand seals sitting right there, ready to go, and the icon was just blurry enough to let me have it. The passage is still good, it just doesn't get to hang off that icon anymore. Because Daoist ritual does have finger positions, shoujui, hand formulas, qiajui, which literally means pinching the formula, and these are written down at the level of individual knuckles. A finger, a specific crease on that finger, a direction to move, somebody was taught this with their hands. Here's the way out, and honestly I should have started here. You can't check what a blurry glyph is a picture of, you can check what happens when he presses it. Chinese coverage of the demo lists the 4 as fire, thunder, a summon, and the sword, drinking the element back in, and that you can just watch. He presses it, fire comes out. So take those to the manuals instead, all 3 are in there. Fire, Zhong Kui, Huofu, Haiyiju, and the instructions are physical. Bokvex Lu again, talisman foot, you hit the floor with it. Thunder, same book. Yellow paper again, and you eat it, that's number 4, from 5 minutes ago. The summon, Zhao Jiangfu, and this one tells you what shows up when you use it. Gold armor, curved saber. Hold that picture in your head, that's the whole next episode. So no, I can't tell you what those icons are pictures of. What I can tell you is that fire, thunder, and summoning armed men are 3 of the oldest working categories in the whole tradition. I can quote all 3, and all 3 are on screen. Now here's a scene that looks like more of the same and isn't. A censer, a fan, smoke pushed on purpose into a room. Every English comment I read called it poison gas. To anyone who grew up on Chinese costume drama, it's obviously Mixyang knockout incense, and behind that, Meng Hanyao, which is one of the oldest props in the entire martial arts genre. Somebody wants into an inn, or wants a room robbed, or really doesn't fancy fighting a master face to face, so they gas the place first. And that's why this bit is more interesting than it looks. Everything else today comes out of religion. This comes out of the Jianghu bandits and drifters, completely different shelf. The historical record does discuss Meng Hanyao. The version where one lungful drops a whole room is fiction, and it's great fiction, but it's fiction. So inside about 3 minutes of screen time, this game reaches into a ritual manual and into a pulp novel, and never once tells you which is which. Last one, and this is the one that actually surprised me. The monsters aren't from the Zhong Kui novels. I went looking for them, and they're just not in there. They're from the Shanhai Jing, the classic of mountains and seas, which is about 2,000 years older and has nothing to do with Zhong Kui whatsoever. Take this thing, pig-shaped white bristles. Pig-shaped, white bristles, black at the tips. Then there's this one in the water. Body of an ox lives on land. Snake tail, wings dies every winter and comes back every summer. Somebody wrote that down 2,000 years ago, and I'd love to know what they'd actually seen. And there's a turtle in this trailer whose head is not a turtle's head. 3 creatures, 3 entries, not one of them out of a Zhong Kui book. I'm calling these likely and not confirmed because pig-shaped with white bristles isn't a fingerprint, but 3 of them in one trailer is a lot harder to shrug off than one. And it tells you something about how the thing was built. The man comes out of Ming and Qing ghost fiction. The things he's fighting come out of a Han Dynasty monster. Atlas, 2 shelves, 1 game, and nobody mentions it. So, 4 things. The paper's a real object with 5 documented uses, and setting it on fire is how you post it. The hand seals are real. The icon I called a hand isn't one, and I'd rather say that out loud than quietly delete it. The smoke comes from a completely different tradition than everything around it. And the monsters are reading a book 2,000 years older than the man they're fighting. Next time that silhouette, gold armor, curved saber, and the 24 seconds where the man you're playing walks out of his own body. Same standard as always. If we know it, I'll tell you. If we don't, I'll tell you that too.